Fans were stunned when Kylie Jenner got pregnant at a young age, but can we get some love for these older mamas? Some celebs waited until after 40 to become first-time parents, while others decided it was the perfect time to grow their families. One star kept her pregnancy so private, she could give young Kylie a run for her money. Gwen Stefani. There have been rumors that Gwen Stefani is expecting a child with her current partner Blake Shelton, but what we know for sure is that she considers her son Apollo a miracle. Gwen has 3 boys with her now ex-husband Gavin Rossdale, named Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo. Apparently, Kingston had been desperate for another brother and prayed daily despite his mother's belief that she was done having kids. Surprise, surprise, because Gwen ended up having Apollo when she was 44 years old. Eva Longoria. Eva Longoria had her first child when she was 43 years old, and she thinks the timing couldn't have been better. This star claims she's much more patient and has more free time than she did when she was younger, which makes bringing up her son, Santiago, a lot easier. She was already a stepmother of 3 thanks to her marriage to husband Jose Antonio Baston Patino, and says she loves seeing Santiago's curiosity about the world around him, even if she did suffer from a serious lack of sleep. Celine Dion. Superstar Celine Dion is the youngest of 14 children, so it's safe to say family is important to her. She was so intent on having children with her then-husband, Renee Angelil, that she took a hiatus to undergo in vitro fertilization. Their first son, Renee Charles Angelil, was born in 2001, and years later when Celine was 42, she gave birth to twins, Eddie and Nelson. After Renee passed away from his battle with throat cancer, Celine says her children were a huge source of comfort, and she was forced to stay strong for their sake. Alanis Morissette. Alanis Morissette always wanted to have 3 children with her husband, Mario Treadway, but after a while, thought it would never happen, until she got pregnant with her 3rd at the age of 45. According to Alanis, her pregnancy with Winter was different from her previous ones because she was more in tune with her body. She also learned to seek immediate help for her postpartum depression, something she had struggled with in the past. In addition to seeking professional help for PPD, Alanis has another great secret for surviving motherhood: coffee. Rachel Weisz. When Rachel Weisz had her first child with producer Darren Aronofsky, she saw herself having at least 2 or 3 more children. But at the age of 48, she gave birth to her daughter and decided she was done having kids. Rachel considers herself a laid-back mom, and when asked if she and her husband Daniel Craig plan on raising their daughter to be American or British, she had the perfect answer.
Just human.
Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore is the first to admit she finds motherhood challenging, even though she considers herself lucky to have the support of her husband, Bart Freundlich. She had her first child, Caleb, in her 30s, but didn't give birth to her daughter, Liv, until Julianne was 41. This Hollywood star has a career many would envy, but says having a family is the most satisfying thing she's ever done. Naomi Watts. Naomi Watts is a mother of 2 boys, Sasha and Kai, who she had at the ages of 39 and 40 with her now ex-husband Liev Schreiber. She loves her kids, and Naomi wishes she had started having them sooner so she could have had a couple more of them. Laura Linney. Everyone talks about how Kylie Jenner kept her pregnancy a secret, but let's not forget that Ozark actress Laura Linney did too. She had her first baby with husband Mark Schauer when she was 49 years old. Since fans never saw her rocking a baby bump, there were rumors she had baby Bennett with the help of a surrogate. But according to Laura, she did indeed carry her own child, and she didn't mean to hide her pregnancy. She was simply worried about her child's health and didn't want to call attention to the fact that she was expecting. Chloe Sevigny. Chloe Sevigny once joked about wanting to have a daughter to pass her clothing collection to, so naturally, she ended up having a boy with her boyfriend, Sinisa Makovic. She welcomed her son Vanya to the world at the age of 45 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Although Chloe admits it took her some time to get used to the idea of having a baby boy, she couldn't be more excited that little Vanya is finally here. Tina Fey. In order to add another member to her family, Tina Fey had to risk taking a step back from her hit show 30 Rock. She and her husband Jeff Richman had their first daughter Alice in 2005, and by the time Tina was 41, she realized her career wasn't going to slow down on its own, and it was time to prioritize her family. In 2011, Tina and Jeff welcomed a second daughter named Penelope into their lives. Halle Berry. Even the best parents don't often have fond memories of being pregnant, but Halle Berry claims she loved the experience both times. She had her first daughter Nala with Gabriel Aubry when she was 41, and her second child Macia with Oliver Martinez when she was 47. Halle says being a mom is the best job, and that her kids couldn't care less that their mother is a huge movie star. This star loved being pregnant and said she felt gorgeous, yet also focused on being a better person for the little people who would soon be counting on her. Nicole Kidman. When Nicole Kidman was married to Tom Cruise, she thought she would never be able to have biological children. After suffering from a painful ectopic pregnancy, the couple adopted 2 kids, Isabella and Connor. After going through a painful divorce, she eventually remarried Keith Urban and gave birth to their daughter, Sunday Rose, at the age of 41. The couple also went on to have a second daughter, Faith Margaret, with the help of a gestational surrogate. Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep has been married to her husband Don Gummer for over 4 decades at this point, but didn't start having children until she was 41. She has 4 kids, Henry, Mary, Grace, and Louisa, and she's also a grandmother. In fact, Meryl credits her kids with helping her stay grounded, despite being a major movie star. Although she admits motherhood is challenging, she also called it the best kind of challenge. Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields has 2 daughters with her husband Chris Henchy, the second of whom was born when she was 40 years old. This star famously struggled to have her children, going through several rounds of IVF before getting pregnant with her first child, Rowan. But interestingly enough, she didn't need any IVF to get pregnant with her second daughter, Greer. Brooke has been open about her struggles with postpartum depression and believes in the importance of educating people about the condition. Salma Hayek. When Salma Hayek was ready to have a child with her husband, Francois-Henri Pinault, she was certain she would need some medical intervention. She was already a stepmother to her husband's 3 kids, but thought she may have missed her chance to have a biological child. Fortunately for Salma, she was able to get pregnant without any assistance and gave birth to her daughter Valentina at age 41. Although Salma suffered from some nauseating gestational diabetes, she loves being a mom and says she's more confident in her parenting skills than she would have been a decade earlier. Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman and her now ex-husband Ethan Hawke have 2 children, Maya and Levon, and this star welcomed a 3rd child with her now ex, Arpad Busan, at the age of 42. Apparently, she had plenty of time to think of names for her 3rd because she gave her 7 of them. This is Rosalind Arusha Arkadina Altaloon Florence Thurman Busan, but her family calls her Luna for short. Eva Mendes. When Eva Mendes was 40 years old, she had her first daughter Esmeralda with Ryan Gosling. 2 years later, they welcomed another daughter named Amanda, but Eva admits nothing she experienced really prepared her for motherhood.
But nobody can prep you. Nobody.
Madonna. In her 30s, Madonna and Carlos Leon welcomed a daughter named Lourdes, but she was 42 years old when she and her now ex-husband Guy Ritchie had their son Rocco. In addition to her 2 biological children, Madonna also adopted 4 children: David, Mercy, Esther, and Stella. Iman. Model Iman had her first child Zuleika with her now ex-husband Spencer Haywood, but thought having a child was never going to happen. She and her late husband David Bowie tried IVF, but were disappointed when it didn't work. They were looking into adoption when Iman found herself pregnant with their daughter Alexandria at the age of 45. Gina Davis. Gina Davis didn't just have 1 post-40 baby, she had 3 of them. She and her ex, Reza Jarahi, had their daughter Alize when Gina was 46, and 2 years later they had twins, Kian and Kais. Gina may have had her kids later in life, but she thinks it made her a better and more patient parent. Bridget Nielsen. Bridget Nielsen has 5 kids, including Frida, who was born when Bridget was 54 years old. The father is her husband, Mattia Desi, who's over a decade her junior. Bridget admits getting pregnant wasn't easy, and having Frida took a decade of failed IVF attempts before one finally worked. This star was so scared of something going wrong, she kept her pregnancy a secret from even her own mother until she was 27 weeks along. Alyssa Milano. Some stars are ready for parenthood at a young age, but Alyssa Milano took some time to feel prepared enough for kids. She and her husband David Bugliari have 2 children, and their daughter was born when Alyssa was 41. This celeb knows she had her kids at the perfect times and says she actually enjoyed experiencing her pregnancies. Janet Jackson. Although Janet Jackson has been quiet about the circumstances surrounding her pregnancy at the age of 50, it's clear she loves being a mother with her son Asa. Fans were surprised when Janet and her now ex-husband, Wissam Almana, became parents, and Janet calls her son the greatest gift of all. Jerry Halliwell Horner. Her real name is Jerry Halliwell Horner, but you might know her better as Ginger. This former Spice Girl got pregnant for the second time naturally at the age of 44 with her husband, Christian Horner. She and her kids love playdates with Posh Spice and her kids. Jane Krakowski. 30 Rock star Jane Krakowski became a mother for the first time at the age of 42 when she gave birth to her son, Bennett. She joked about her character Jenna being an unfit mother after having a child with her now ex-fiancé Robert Godley. Jane and her co-star Tina Fey were pregnant at the same time and says Tina helped her through the experience. Do you think these celebs were smart to wait until they were in their 40s to have kids? Let us know what you think in the comment section, and don't forget to click subscribe for more from us here at The Taco. Bye for now!